Welcome to The Fall to Grace. This is a podcast where we hope to bring a grounded, practical approach to spirituality and mysticism. I'm Cyan, and today my friend Connor and I are going to start talking about love. Now, obviously, love is a huge topic, and we just try to keep these episodes under 30 minutes. Something quick and snappy that you can just listen to when you're driving or when you're cleaning your kitchen. This is definitely something we'd like to talk about more in depth, though. So stick around, and please, if you haven't already, we would love if you gave us a rate and a review. And you can find us on TikTok and Instagram at The Fall to Grace. We also love to answer your questions, so feel free to send them. And with that being said, let's get into the episode. Thank you so much for being here.
I think a lot of people feel like no one could ever love them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we even have a hard time when people do love us, believing that they love us. I think we talked about that a little bit on the last one.
Yeah.
But when we do have a bunch of shame and we do have self-loathing and self-hatred, it's really hard to believe that somebody else could love us. So being loved always starts with loving yourself, unfortunately, because that's the harder part. It's much easier to love another person than it is to love yourself. If we don't love ourselves, then we're not ever going to trust a relationship that we're in, and we're not going to trust the people that we're around, right?
Yeah, totally. It's hard to even fathom that someone ever could love all of your idiosyncrasies and annoying little things.
That's the point, right? It's really hard to believe that because all your life you've just been trying to figure out what works. Like, what do they respond to well? And then I'm chasing that idiosyncrasy, and I'm like trying to be that idiosyncrasy all the time. Somebody gave me a compliment for being kind, and now I'm neurotically kind all the time. And somebody told me I had a big heart, so I show like I have a big heart all the time, even when I don't. And that's the rub with this authenticity issue, is just I want to be something, but I feel something else. And I believe that this is the right action, and I believe that this is the right direction, but I don't feel that way. And so we just go on pretending like these feelings don't exist, and we keep pursuing the thing that makes us lovable to other people and the thing that they've rewarded us for, right? Like so many of us just run on those compliments. Like it's the positive and negative reinforcement. It's like every time I've done something bad, I try not to do that again. Every time I've done something cool and somebody tells me it was awesome or something really lovable, I just do that as many times as I can because that's when I love that feeling.
Yeah,
so much, and that's what I'm chasing.
It's like the rat hitting the reward button over and over again, like to get the sugar water or whatever.
Yeah,
I want it. But yeah, and if our parent or caregiver or even like an ex, gave us a really negative reaction to something, like making fun of your mustache or something.
Somebody make fun of your mustache?
Yes.
People have made fun of your mustache?
2 guys have mentioned my mustache.
How did they mention it?
One of them said, "Yeah, I can see your mustache." And then
that's not a good one.
You want me to cut this out then?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's not a good way to approach telling somebody about their mustache.
Not very delicate, but that's okay.
Well, it's just not very loving too. Like it's holding you up. And it's a hard one too because it's innocuous.
Yeah.
Right. Like there is so much to read in to an innocuous comment that's like, I can see your mustache.
Right.
It's just like, do you like it? Yeah. But mostly you're just gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm so embarrassed that I had a mustache.
Yeah, and then I had another guy, that guy that was kind of coming around and was into me. He like made a joke about my mustache, and that's why I was like, I'm not talking to you anymore. He was like, I'm kidding, and I'm like, well, it's not funny.
Well, this is what we do and this is how we do so much damage to one another. We take so much of our own personal shit into a relationship, and they're coming with all of their personal shit, that if nobody's dealt with their shadow in that relationship, you're both just going to project onto one another. And this is like a huge thing in dating and a huge thing in like the pickup game that was really big forever ago when they were like negging is the thing to do.
Yeah.
Like make them feel a little bad so that you can be kind of in a power position. And this is just the opposite of love. It's just putting myself above you so that you vie for my attention. And this is so much of the dynamic that we have going on is like, I'm vying for your attention, you're vying for mine. But there's no love in this process. That's power. And power is, it's the antithesis to love, but it also looks like love in some ways.
I also think love is a power struggle because mom and dad probably power struggled. Or
could be.
Potentially, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I mean, you learn it from everywhere in your life.
Mhm.
You know, a teacher could do this to you. A
Mhm.
coach can do this to you. Any kind of figure that is in a higher position than you, criticizing you, is something that is going to stick with you forever.
Yeah.
And you also learn that that's how you give love, right? Like that teacher was supposed to be somebody who loved me, and that's how they treated me. And so now I have genuine affection towards somebody, and I'm going to treat them that way because that's how I learned to love. Very few of us are earnestly willing to do the work to undo that programming and really try to channel what real love is and what real loving demonstrations are. One of the best examples of this is what codependency is, which is just the giver, giver, giver. And this idea that caretakers are always taking care of people and they always come back and they're like, I'm never taking care of myself. I put so much energy into other people and nobody puts any energy into me. And they end up with this care debt and they get super frustrated because they're giving and giving and giving and giving.
Oh my gosh, that's so that like, get down off the cross, boy, we could use the wood.
Well, there's a little bit of that. But also just like, why are you giving so much? Why do I feel the need to compulsively give so much of myself? Because when you have that compulsive a need to give, it's generally because you're lacking and you're trying to get something out of other people. And this is what the hard part about love is I think that their affection for the action that I did for them is my reward. And true love doesn't have rewards. I mean, true love is I love you when you're fucked up. I love you when you're doing great. I love you all the time. I don't need a whole lot from somebody that I truly love.
Yeah.
But many of us haven't ever experienced that kind of blanket love, which is really just active forgiveness. I think about this all the time, that real love is just real-time active forgiveness. It's just forgiving everybody for every little thing that they do all the time. That doesn't mean that you're internalizing the things they say, but if somebody says, I can see your mustache, you go, okay, they're just fucked up and they're just doing their thing, right? Like that guy learned that to show love, you have to be a little cruel. And when I can see that from this perspective and I can see that that's just coming from a place of pain, I'm much more apt to forgive that. Versus when I'm self-centered and I'm really thinking about me, and how can I get the reaction that I desire out of this person, when they say that, they're doing the exact opposite. They're giving me the reaction that I never wanted to hear. And now it's all, I have to run and hide from them and from those situations. And I have to neurotically wax my mustache every 4 days so it never happens again.
Now I am neurotic about my mustache. You know, I have so many things that ex-boyfriends have negged me about, and I have a list. I literally have a list. It's like super fucking neurotic. It's like Patrick Bateman level.
What's your list? What's on your list?
Basically, it kind of boils down to all the things that I have to neurotically maintain with the hope that maybe, just maybe, someone would think I was good enough one day. It's crazy how much we do because we're all aching for it.
We ache for it, and nobody ever gives it to us the way we want it, right? I just have my own perception of how somebody who loves me is going to show it. And we have so much fantasy in our world about that. And real love is not fantastical. It's not imaginary. It doesn't imagine that there's just perfect people for perfect people everywhere. Like real love understands that every single person is absolutely imperfect and that they will have their flaws.
It's just about forgiving these people over and over and over again, and forgiving yourself over and over and over and over again. And it's like not glamorous, and it's not, doesn't even really have to be romantic. The nature of true love is just like, to me, I call it calm compassion.
When you create space, you create compassion. Like this is what compassion is it's just infinite space to hold everything in the world.
Yes, and.
Yes, and. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that too. I mean, Ram Dass always said that, is that when he was sitting with people, and what we were talking about last week, this was his therapy method that he didn't really consider therapy, but tell me the thing you can't imagine telling anybody. And he would say, that too, right?
Yeah.
To everything, right? And he goes, that too. And so as you move down like the egregious list of things that people have done or things that people have been, you can see how much space you have. Like when you are super offended, that's where your space ends. And that's where your compassion is limited.
Totally.
And that's really hard, right? I mean, you're standing in front of a serial killer and you're trying to find compassion. Like, why would you do that? And it's because of your own experience. It's because hating that person is extremely painful. And hating that person means that I'm hating things in myself too, most of the time.
It's so true. Okay, this is just a funny aside, and then we can get right back into it. But a couple weeks ago, Connor and I went to this guy who he partially does like past life regression stuff. And I asked him, because he was giving Connor and our other friends little glimpses into their past lives. And I was like, what about me? And he like looked at me all funny and he thought for a minute. And then he was like, God. He basically said that the things I've done in my past life were so egregious he couldn't even tell me about them. He's like, you've done some truly heinous things in this world.
It's likely that most of us have. I mean, when you really start to lean into some of the multiple life and reincarnation processes, like the Buddha said, it's as if an eagle was carrying a silk cloth over the Himalayas. And every single lifetime is as if that eagle dragged that silk cloth along that mountain. And the amount of time that it would take for that silk cloth and that eagle to erode the Himalayan mountain is how many lives you've been alive.
Yeah.
So you've done great things too.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done amazing things, but you've also done horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can create space for all of that, your world starts to change because you just see people in a moment. And the longer your timeline gets, the more insignificant the single moments get. And you go, wow, this is where they are now. Like, I wonder where they're going to be. So this is about fluidity and space and growth and change. And when you have all of that, you do have love.
Mm-hmm.
Love is found beneath everything. Like, it's not something that you can necessarily embody. I mean, you can try and you can think about these things and you can percolate and really just try to forgive everybody all the time. But mostly it's uncovering the layers in yourself that is going to give you access to this. Love is what sits beneath my layers of self. And when I start to pull back those layers, I start to have access to that. It's there. It's not something I have to find or something to be. It is who I am, but I have a bunch of shit that is blocking that.
Yeah. We can get there, though, by getting dragged through the mud. And that's why we named this podcast The Fall to Grace, because that kind of thing helps, like falling to grace, falling to the love over and over again. Because through trauma and trial and tribulation, like if we play our cards right, that's the time that we can access it, is when we're on our knees. Or at least when we can kind of really start to understand it in a more deep way.
Yeah, the path should be difficult. If it's not difficult, you don't have a noble struggle. Like, the meaning and the purpose in life comes from a noble struggle, which is like, I am trying to be better. I'm trying to be loving, and I'm facing setbacks, but I'm kind of moving through them and learning from them.
Have you seen that meme all over social media that's like, everything is a win when the goal is experience?
No, I haven't seen the meme, but I agree with the sentiment.
It's just a snappy way of saying kind of what we're saying.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, we think the meaning of life is pleasure, and that's what we do all the time. I want to have good food. I want to go see cool things. I want to have people who love me all around me all the time, and that's what's going to make my good life. But that's just me chasing an experience of constant happiness. And the part of happiness is that it's unsustainable. We're creatures of cycles and we're creatures of movement, right? These things are moving through us. So every time we're happy, we also get a sad moment. It's a pretty constant exchange of, for my joyful moments, have bad moments. This is also alcoholism, right? Like, I went out every night to get shit-faced drunk, and then I would have a hangover the next day and I would have to suffer through that. Like, when I'm chasing happiness, I'm constantly betting on the happiness. And there's always a losing part to that. And so it is about experience. And this is probably one of the better things that anybody can do, which is to reframe your life. I'm not here for the pleasure. I am here for the experience. I'm here for the growth. And everything is good in that case, right? You can get hit by a car and go, huh, I wonder what this is teaching me.
You can go, Jaima.
Jaima, yeah. Do I not need a car? What, like, you start to engage, right? You start to ask the questions of like, why me without the self-pity angle? Like, what is this? And you're free to explore it too. And you're free to let people not be for you as well. Like, I mean, so many of us just think that everybody needs to like us all the time. And that if that one person doesn't like us, it's game over. And it's really ridiculous. I mean, we were just talking about this in the car. There's 8 billion people on this planet. And if you offend one of them, we can spiral for months. But when we have this freedom, we go, there's other people in the world. I made a mistake just because that one person didn't like me doesn't mean that nobody's going to like me. What that person said in that moment does not have to be something that sticks to you. You have a choice to pick that up or put it down in that moment. But most of us pick it up because it's about us. And we love things that are about us, even if they are negative. It's like, oh, you're still talking about me. But when we hold on to that, a week later, we're waxing our mustaches.
We're putting it on a list. Gotta wax my mustache.
Throw it on the list.
No, it's very true. I mean, because when someone says something bad about us, we're like, I knew it. I knew I was unlovable, and now I'm adding this to the tally because it just confirms our own internal biases.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us struggle with self-love. And, in my experience, my self-love never came from me. And it didn't come from taking more baths. And it didn't come from doing face masks. No, it came from loving others extremely actively and forgiving others extremely actively. In doing that and just being able to put things down as they happen and say, oh, interesting, that too. Right? That too. I started to do that to myself. And every time those thoughts came, I go, that too. Or that's still there, right? Like, oh, that self-loathing is kicking back up. And I started to notice what was going on within myself. And I started to notice the narratives that I had going on. We all have these narratives about everything that's happening in the world, and they're all wrong. Like, we are always a step away from reality because of our minds.
Totally. That's the whole point of engaging with mindfulness at all, is so these thought forms that pass through, we don't need to leap up and grab them. If we use this kind of analogy of our mind is like the sky, we don't need to hop up and grab them. They can just float on by like a cloud, When it's noon, I'm like, my stomach starts rumbling and I'm like, I could go for a sandwich right now. I don't have to say, God, I'm insatiable. It can be just the experience of hunger. It doesn't need to mean something more than that. That's the difference between taking on an identity or not. It can just be an experience, and then I eat my sandwich and I let the thought form go versus clinging on to it and making a whole storyline about how voracious of an eater I am.
Yeah, see, this is one of the weirdest things that's happened in Western culture, is the purpose of meditation has been co-opted. And the purpose of mindfulness has even been co-opted. They want you to think that if you move a little bit more slowly and more deliberately, you'll be more relaxed and you'll have a better life because you're just more relaxed. And so meditation is this tool that we can use to just feel better, right? All of Western culture is very geared at feeling better. Meditation has never been about feeling better, but that's not why I do it. I do it to develop the awareness in my mind. I do it to sit with my mind and try to stop thinking, only to realize that thoughts are constant. And this is the experience that everybody has with meditation, and they run away from it. So they're like, oh, I couldn't do it. I need to think about things. And they own the thoughts. But if you really sit with meditation, you realize that these thoughts are just coming. And that's what the value of meditation is that you gain separation from your mind because yourself is wanting to do something which is not think, and yet your mind is still feeding you thoughts. And so you go, wow, I didn't have that thought. That thought came. And these thoughts all come. Every single thought that we have, even those self-loathing and self-pitying thoughts, are just thoughts that are coming. And we have the choice to pick them up or not. Yeah. And that's the other value of meditation, is I can decide that, I'm doing something else right now. Thank you, but I'm trying to be peaceful.
Yeah, right? But we're like, ooh, shiny. Let me just rip into this thought and hold on to it for hours and days and months.
And sometimes you do that in meditation. You try to sit down for 20 minutes and meditate, and you think for 20 minutes. And that's extremely beneficial too, because you realize that it's really hard to put these thoughts down as well. And so meditation is this mind-blowing experience where you kind of realize that the predicament, which is what we've spent so much time in this podcast talking about, but the mind feeding me things that it says I need. It's just giving me survival things, right? Self-loathing is survival.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's ever going to love me.
They're going to kick me out of the tribe.
Yeah.
They're going to kick me out of the tribe because I have a mustache.
Yeah, and it's protective. I mean,
or they're not going to want to mate with me, and then I won't be able to carry on my genes, and it's so scary.
And this is what the monkey mind is. It's me just buying into whatever this thing is feeding me.
Yeah.
And taking those thoughts to the great extremes.
Yeah.
And the mind is constantly looking for problems to solve. That's the nature of it. And that's the evolutionary purpose of it, is that the mind is this higher intelligence that helps us solve complex problems. And so it gives us this idea that self-hatred, or just these flaws that I have, are great problems for the mind to be working on right now. But the mind can't do much about these things. It's very hard to think our way out of these problems. Because the mind will, I had a mustache one day. Somebody talked to me about it. And the solution was to never have a mustache again and neurotically wax my mustache. That's the kind of solution that your mind gives you. And that's really painful. Because now you got to focus on this all the time. You have to look in the mirror and see if you can see anything before you leave the house. And so it's really hard to buy into that. And when you realize that you're just buying into this narrative, you can kind of start to buy out. You can kind of choose to move in a different direction, which is just, I'm not going to accept this. I don't care.
And I think people conflate self-loathing with being self-aware. They think they're doing something productive when they're engaging in self-loathing spirals. Like, see how self-aware I am? And they are not the same thing.
No, it's just self-centeredness. And most people are constantly thinking about themselves and they conflate that for awareness. But that's just the mind being aware of the mind. And that's the trick here, is they are somewhat aware of their mind doing mind stuff, but they're not really aware of the self behind the mind. I mean, we're at the beck and call of this unregulated mind that we have, and we start to hate ourselves because the mind is telling you you've got that problem and that problem and that problem and that problem and that problem, and here we're gonna fix them. Don't worry, we'll create a list. We'll get this done. Like we'll just get rid of all the flaws. We're gonna manufacture them out of ourselves. And they never get manufactured out of ourselves. And all of a sudden we're neurotic and anxious and depressed.
What happens if I were to fix everything wrong with my physical form and I were to be perfected, so to speak? Let's say, okay, so my ex-boyfriend, I was never good enough for him, for sure, according to him. And then okay, so what if I do perfect myself, and I get a male model boyfriend and he's obsessed with his image. And even though I've perfected all the old things, now I have to perfect the new things. Or, if you're bodybuilding, okay, you're doing well in your class. And then, what about the next class that you get bumped up into? You're going to lose that time. So it's it's never good enough.
Well, it's never good enough. And it's also just caught in chasing, right? And, if you stop doing it, you're going to start to hate yourself. And so many of us do this with the gym. We go to the gym and we feel good about ourselves for a little while. And then we drop off for a week. And then we start to really hate ourselves. And we go, I'm getting fat. I'm getting ugly. Nobody's ever going to love this version of me. Yep. And so then we have to go back to the gym and punish ourselves in the gym for the self-loathing. And we're just in this vicious cycle. This is this is the wheel of samsara. Right? I'm up one day and then I'm down the next. And this is this is the wheel that every single one of us is on. It's just, I'm going to chase the good. Oh no, the good turned bad and that person left or moved on or whatever it is. And there's a new one. Oh, they're gone. And there's a new one. And now they're gone. Yeah. And we're just trying to hold on to these things and we're just frantic in our experience. And we never sit back to enjoy any of it. Because it's how do I keep this? How do I get that? What do I do? How do I get what I want?
There's only so many hours in the day, too. I feel like I'm spinning plates. And when I have a few in the air that are really spinning well, I'm like, oh my God, yay. Okay, gym is going really well and I'm cooking really well for myself and I'm spending time with friends. Then something else is going to come crashing down because you only have so many hours in the day. It's exhausting. Something else always suffers.
I mean, your mind will do what you allow it to. Your mind will run awry and tell you there's not enough hours in a day. There are plenty of hours in a day, but there's not enough to do everything that the mind needs to fix.
Exactly. That's what I mean, though. Yeah. That's what I mean is when I'm being in my perfectionist mind, then there's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah. This is why perfectionism is awfully painful because it's never perfect. Perfection is unattainable and it's never going to, and I can't control all the variables, but I'm going to try to control all of these things that I can't control. And then it's going to go wrong anyway. And I have no space for it to go wrong. If it goes wrong, then it's a reflection of me and how awful I am. And if it does go wrong, that's what I do. I go hang out in bed for 3 weeks. I go, I can't do anything right. I'm just going to do nothing. And so creating space is all this is about, and creating enough room for everybody to be who they are, flaws and all, creates enough room for me to be who I am, flaws and all.
Yeah. Something Joe Wagner, Connor's meditation teacher,
Lama Joe
is, well, I think this is also just a Tibetan Buddhist thing, but keep your mind like the sky. There's absolutely nothing that the sky can't fit. You know, the sky can fit fighter jets, and it can fit balloons and all kinds
sorts
of things.
Clouds.
All kinds of clouds, birds, and all those things are in the sky at once. And then he also gave this example, like...
But it's grabbing none of them.
Exactly. It's not
It's
grabbing...
holding none of them.
Exactly. It just has space for them. And if you were to throw a can of paint at the sky, imagine that, throwing a can of paint up at the sky and letting it fall. That's what would happen, is the paint would just kind of fall right back down to earth. You know, it can't stick. That's what we're trying to get to, is just to have that kind of spaciousness, to not grasp onto thought forms. Just let them fall right back down to earth. I like mind like the sky better than mind like a river, because a river's kind of small.
Whatever metaphor floats your boat is fine. This is about finding a way to win.
Yep.
And however you can conceptualize of your mind is powerful. Create separation by labeling it. And this is so much of what the Buddhist practice is. It's just like, label this as the mind. And every time you have a thought, recognize it as the mind having a thought. Not as you having a thought, as the mind having a thought. Because when I have the thought, I have to hold on to it because it's mine. But when the mind has a thought, then I have that separation that says, no, that's just a factory. The mind is just a factory of thoughts. And it's insatiable. I mean, it's going while you're asleep. Your dreams are still thoughts. Your mind is constantly running. And so that's not going to change. But what is going to change is your reaction to it and to those thoughts.
Exactly. So just, keep letting them pass by.
But what I'm saying too, like the spaciousness that you do create, and when you do create even a tiny bit of it, is so contagious and it is so addicting, because that is the essence of peace. And peace is the essence of joy, not pleasure. It's peace. And so when we actually start to strive for peace and quietness of mind, most of us don't think, because the mind doesn't want you to think that a quiet mind is something that would be beneficial to you. It wants you to think that it will always solve your problem and it is the thing you can constantly rely on and that it is you. But when you do actually make a concerted effort to create this space, you can meditate for a minute a day. This is another thing that Joe Wagner always says, and I think it's a powerful instruction, which is that you can sit for a minute a day and you will experience a peace that is so addictive that you will want to do more and more and more. Mm-hmm. And the mind is the one that's telling you, no, you can't meditate. You don't have 30 minutes to sit down. Like that, we've got things to do. You have so many problems in your life. Like, why would you ever want to sit down right now?
Well, the mind doesn't want to be made redundant. The mind doesn't want to lose its job.
No, it's got its own survival mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you start to recognize the nature of the mind, you stop believing it. When you realize it's a, kind of construction of beliefs that is constantly running, you go, man, this thing is incessant. I wish it would just shut up. It's like listening to me run on too long in any of my tirades. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Your poor co-host.
Yeah. Exactly. In this metaphor, you are me, myself, listening to my mind. Yeah. Yeah. You go, oh my God. Or?
No, it's good. And you guys, I'm the most neurotic person I know, so take it from me.
We're all the most neurotic people we know.
No, I am.
Self-importance is a barrier.
I'm special.
To spiritual growth. Yeah. There's an element of humility to this, which is just like, I don't have to be the best. And that's what you get when you stop listening to your mind. Your mind tells you have to be the best. But when you start to realize that trying to be the best all the time is painful, you have the humility to go, I don't need to be the best. Like, I'm going to let Cyan take the stage.
An hour of recording and it's my turn.
She finally gets to talk. Yeah.
Just kidding. No, but I think that probably is all we have time for.
All right. We can close. I'll shut up.
Perfect. You close us out.
I'm closing us out. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this one and to all of these. Your support means a ton to us. As always, please make sure that you're liking and sharing and doing all of the engagement, ratings, all of those things. They are super helpful for a little podcast that is trying to get going. So any love you guys can show, we so appreciate it, and we love you right back. We always love your questions. We have gotten a few questions and are eager to answer them. Thank you guys so much for listening. We wish you all the blessings in the world.
See you next Monday.
See you next Monday.